Hey, Willie. Good to see you again.
That's perfect. Great to be here with you, man.
What do we got in Grandma's cookie jar today?
All right, so let's see. All right. This is a good one. Know your true purpose. All right, you got a story for that one?
I do.
All right.
I do. It's a story about James, the lightkeeper. So once upon a time, there was a skilled lighthouse keeper named James. His job was crucial to ensure the lighthouse's beam guided ships safely through treacherous waters. James took pride in his work, cleaning his lenses, checking the oil, and keeping the light shining brightly every night. One day, a series of small, seemingly urgent tasks began to distract him. Villagers often asked him to help fix their boats, tend to injured animals, organize community events, and James, being a kind-hearted person, felt obligated to assist. These tasks, they started piling up, and he spent more and more time doing them, so he had less time to spend at the lighthouse. And then, one stormy night, overwhelmed by exhaustion and distraction, James forgot to check the lighthouse lamp, and a ship relying on the beam to navigate safely veered off course and ran aground. Thankfully, no lives were lost, but the ship was badly damaged, and the incident sent ripples of disappointment through the village. James realized he had lost sight of his most important responsibility, keeping the light shining. He sat down that night and asked himself, "Why am I here? What is my true purpose?"
Wow. True purpose to keep the light shining. There's so many different ways to go with that story. I actually love that story. But let me ask you a question. How many times does that happen in our lives?
It happens all the time.
Correct. Yeah, well, we get off focus. We get off path, right? We forget why we're there, what we're doing, what's our true purpose. So then all of a sudden we find ourselves in a place that an error has occurred in James' place, but also in some place we go, what am I doing? I'm not happy. My life isn't what I expected.
The distractions in this case, even though he was being a good person, or so he thought, he was helping other people. They saw his competence, and then they kept piling on.
Correct.
And how often does that happen in life? Hey, Willie, you're really, really good at this one thing. I bet you could be really good at this other thing too.
Correct. And then you start doing it.
And that first time, it probably, hey, that's okay, right? It maybe took a small percentage of time away from me, but it wasn't really that distracting. But now fast forward that.
Then you got
the
10
next
of those.
time,
Correct.
and 10 times,
correct.
and 100 times. And now, all of a sudden, we become James.
That's right. And we look up and we say, well, wait a minute. Because think about it. Let's put this in sort of like a simple context, right? So if your desire is to be a great father, for example, right? And then all of a sudden work says, hey, can you just this one time make the sacrifice for us? And don't do this. Don't show up to this. Don't be a part of that. And you do it. And then you do it. And you do it. And all of a sudden your child is saying, hey, where's Dad? Right? Or the flip side of that is that you're given a task at work. You're there to be the person who solves the AI problems, right? We're in the age of AI. Solve the AI problems. But they know you're smart. So they start pulling you in other places to do things. And you're being rewarded and it feels good and it's great. But all of a sudden the whole AI system just falls apart and the company goes down the drain, right? No one says, hey, by the way, we appreciate the fact that you were doing this other stuff for us. They go, no, your job was to do this. Your purpose was to do this thing. Right.
Right. Well, you and I have come together and had enough conversations where we know we share our true purpose as, first of all, being good husbands. Second of all, being really good fathers. So our lighthouse light is shining family first and kind of career and other things second. But it's not always easy to do that. And I appreciate the example that you gave us there, which is we all have to make these really hard choices.
Correct. To stay on purpose. But here's the thing, though. You got to first know your purpose, right?
You do.
Right.
Right? And how many of us actually know that or have spent any time, or we just kind of take it as, hey, Willie, you're pretty good at that.
Correct.
Right?
Or you take on, I mean, you talking to people and they're in situations and careers that they actually don't like, they hate, right? I know we got a big burnout in medicine and stuff like that because people join medicine for a different purpose than what it is today, right? But we're not focusing on how to make our light shine.
Or they saw the shiny stuff out of medicine.
Correct.
They didn't necessarily understand all the hard work that was going into this. And right when I actually got in, hey, this stuff isn't exactly what I thought it was going to be. Correct. So that idea of kind of really knowing yourself so that you can match up, hey, the specific things that this particular job, project, task are going to require align with these things that really give me a lot of energy.
Correct.
And drive.
And things you love, things you appreciate, right? Things I can tell you, I know in my career and as a physician and waking up one day hating medicine and really had to think about, well, why I was there. And then I realized I was there for the patients. So then that became the joy of bringing joy to the patients.
And
right?
If you weren't there for the patients, you were only there for the money,
what would have happened? Oh, yeah. I'd have had to leave, or I'd have been such a miserable person that I think, my wife would leave me, kids would hate me, patients would hate me, everything, because it would just be no joy because there's no purpose in it. And
again, we're meeting a lot of people, right? Even at different times in our life's journeys, right? To be at that point, but to kind of know, hey, the more I get aligned with my purpose, I'll ultimately be able to pull myself through this.
Correct. And happier be.
And I would like to bring up just one more thing on kind of this particular riff, which is the idea that knowing your purpose and ultimately knowing yourself ends up being the equivalent of the roots of a tree. It's the foundation.
Correct.
And if you start with the top, or if you have a weak foundation, you have a really big tree that looks great, but you don't have very many roots there. Correct. The first time the wind blows, topple.
I'm seeing that in my mind. This tree, hoping that the tree doesn't fall on my house.
Right? So as we wrap this episode up, the questions that James asked, why am I here? What is my true purpose?
Yeah.
Really resonate. So our action, the action that we're going to take first, is to reflect on our true purpose and write down what really, really matters to us. That may take us into a couple of different directions. It may be material stuff, or it might go deeper. We want you to go everywhere.
Think about it spiritually, mentally, emotionally, financially, physically, intellectually.
Right. So some of those things, my purpose and how it starts to intersect with some of those things. How does it bounce off of the being a good husband, being a good father, being a good friend?
Yeah, I always had trouble with that one.
And the suggestion is that to go back to the hot pen technique. This one's another one of those where you could probably lose yourself in contemplation for years. But we don't want you to do that. We want to take action today. So it's another 5 minutes with your hot pen to write down a list of all of those things that you really, really, really want, right? And then figuring out what those things that you want intersect with your purpose.
Yeah. And how they matter to you, right? What really matters to you? Who are you?
That's the biggest thing.
Correct.
That's the roots. When you can get that stuff to align, man, your roots grow.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
And a good root system, fantastic foundation for the work that we're going to be doing.
And guess what? Your purpose might not match with your perception of who you are. Right? And if it doesn't, then you can think about it and figure out how to achieve your purpose.
Right.
Because
back to Colonel Sanders at
correct.
67 years old.
Correct. And also back to this story, James, right? he decided what? That he was going to let the light shine.
Let the light shine, get the boats in safely into harbor.
Correct. Hey,
Until next time.
till next time.